Welcome back to New Realities. This is Alan Steinfeld, and as you see here, we're doing one last push for this amazing event coming up that Sheila Seppi, who's on the call today, is putting together. And I also have with me the, I guess you would call the person behind the whole thing, behind the scenes, Neil Gore. From Portal to Ascension, who's hosting the event. I would call you the host. So there's Sheila, there's Neil. And Sheila, just give us a little background about what we hope to see this weekend. And Neil, you can go into some details. So yeah, this is 3 days. So go ahead, talk to us, Sheila.
Sure. The intent of this conference is to help educate people about walk-ins. Walk-ins are souls that have switched place with another soul. We're also going to talk about a variety of different soul experiences that people have. But so many people out there have had these phenomenal experiences and they're left wondering, what's going on? Am I crazy? What's happening to me? And so we're hoping that among all of the speakers that are there, that people will be able to relate to one or the other speaker, and they will find a kinship. They'll begin to find a community, because we really want people to feel confident. I know when I came in over 21 years ago, had it not been for my guides kind of leading me through, I would have been lost until I found my first spiritual teacher who helped lead me on the path. But I was very, very lucky. Not everybody has that opportunity. So this is really a first for walk-ins, and it's a first for a lot of people. We have one gentleman who still has not told his family. Even though he was written about in the book, it's just been such a trying experience. And he has a very interesting story, because he actually walked in to Abraham Lincoln's body prior to his marriage of Mary Todd. So we're going to hear some really exciting stories from different people. We're going to hear about the locations from which they came, whether it's from a star system, a dimension, whether it's from a particular planet or a collective. So we have a plethora of stories to share with people.
Right. And Neil, do you want to talk about the synchronicity of how this whole thing came together? I mean, like, yeah, that I think is always a good sign that we're on the right track when
Yes.
yeah. Well, first I just want to introduce Neil is the genius behind Portal to Ascension. He is one of the people promoting a very spiritual community around the globe. Portal to Ascension was doing live events. He does events every month. He's part of a organization that I recommend everyone tune into, portaltoascension.org. But Neil Gore, yes, tell us, Neil, what
Thank
about
you.
this event?
Yes. So I'm really excited for this too. It is definitely a first. It's a unique experience. Even people that are in the conscious community that are aware of the phenomena of walk-ins maybe aren't like presented with so much walk-in information, like 22 people in one time kind of thing, like we're about to do. So just like, even though I'm aware of walk-ins, right, I would probably be hyper aware of walk-ins just because I've interacted with them and I do these events and people tell me they're walk-ins. So a lot of other people in the conscious community have heard of the phenomena, but maybe haven't had the opportunity to almost basically sit down with these individuals and have these stories and conversations. We speak about many ET races and what's going on with our ancestry on Earth, but now we're going to actually hear from walk-ins that have all these experiences interdimensionally on other planets and other bodies. So it's not only going to be really informative, but it's going to be like story time. So I'm extremely excited for it, and the way it manifested is amazing and beautiful. And it's I love like when someone contacts me and I feel this synergy that something's going to come out of it, and then just to watch how it manifests afterwards, and then just be like, oh, of course, like that's the way synchronicities work, like it was going to be like this. So the way this worked is the three of us here, are all part of the foundation of this, but Alan and Sheila, and I think on the event, we won't give away the whole story because I don't even know the whole story in the beginning, but we will talk about it on the actual conference in the beginning, right? So Sheila and Alan were connected. Alan had recommended to Sheila that she reach out to me because I can put together these type of events and conferences. And it was a perfect match. Like Sheila and I had a couple conversations, and really every single thing that she needs, from website to emails to marketing, graphics, hosting, we are really a one-stop shop for all of that, and are able to do it with, at a turn of the key right at this point. Like it can be done really, really fast and efficiently. So it was perfect because not only that, I actually had a thought, I think around 3 to 4 years ago, that I would like to do a conference on walk-ins, but I didn't know enough walk-ins. I didn't have the time to go and research all the ones and then read their books or know their information, because I don't like to just put people on the platform that we haven't vetted out anyway. So if I was just to do it, how is it going to work when I'm so focused on all the events I'm creating now? So the universe answered my prayers 3 years later. Sheila connected with me, and then we decided to go ahead and put this event on. And it's quite a short period of time. I think like we started marketing this only like 2, maybe 3 months ago, right?
Mhm.
So, and we have a fully attended conference on walk-ins 3 days coming up at the beginning of the year, which is also a time a lot of people don't really attend these things because they're recovering from the new year, So we're like breaking all types of barriers right now. That people are ready for this information. So I'm extremely excited, and that's a little bit about how the synchronicity worked.
Yeah, and Sheila, I think it is really exciting because it is the first of its kind. I think I think it's already been successful, so we want to do this annually, but it's sort of a new concept. We're sort of breaking spiritual ground here, and can you just go over some of the people in there and highlight some of what you feel will be the key elements of the weekend? I'll pull up that poster again, and we
Sure.
can just.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Let me just say first that it was, gosh, I wrote a book called Walk-ins, The Cosmology of the Soul, and everyone who's attending the conference was actually interviewed for the book. And it's just been amazing because we continue to stay together and continue to stay connected. And the stories that these individuals have to share, there's no way that a single book could hold all the information. So if people have read the book, now they're going to get to hear more of the story. But we have Marilyn Harper, who will be coming. And Marilyn is a channel for Andirondha, and she will be sharing some of her story, as well as hopefully we'll get to hear from Andirondha. We have Hildegard Minor, and Hildegard is phenomenal. She comes from the Andromedan system, and Hildegard, she is just a wonderful person. She has now pulled together an experiencers group in Toronto and doing great things. Oh, you got the poster. Okay. There's Barbara Lamb. And Barbara, although she is not a walk-in, is a hypnotherapist. She and Mary Rodwell both, and they have hypnotized hundreds and thousands of people over their course. And it's been amazing how many walk-ins have come through. Then we have Rebecca Hardcastle Wright, and Rebecca is really on the forefront of the IXO movement, the Institute for Exo Consciousness. She is really breaking ground and leading the way to really try to merge all the experiencers. Then we have Emma Louise Living Soul, and Emma is such a sweetheart. She's going to be sharing with us some of her experiences. She comes from the Palladian star system. She remembers the planet. She remembers how she came to the body. So she's going to be sharing some really exciting information with us. We have Jacqueline Smith, who Jacqueline has had numerous walk-in type of experiences, many jumpers who have come in and out of her body, as well as total walk-ins. But Jacqueline has a really unique story because she's also a hybrid. And she even remembers back into utero being taken on the ship being injected. There's a whole huge story. Then we have Dylan Cusco. Dylan actually is my son, who became a walk-in when he was 7 years old. Dylan has a phenomenal story. He's a soul infusion. When he brought in, he had a near-death experience, and when he came back into his body, he brought more of his angelic aspects. So he'll be talking about that. We have Robert McWilliam. Robert is a walk-in. He is the gentleman that I alluded to earlier, who actually has had multiple walk-ins, remembers all of his planetary walk-in experiences, and was the gentleman that walked into the body of Abraham Lincoln. Then we have Nicole Richmond, and Nicole is considered a soul overlay, and Nicole actually came into the body as a result of an automobile accident. She is now an attorney. She is a leader in her Ojibwa community. Then we
Let me
have
just interrupt for something. Wait, Sheila, I just want to say, when
Yeah.
people do have these soul experiences, there's a complete change of life, a complete change of consciousness. And yeah, go ahead. And
Yes. Let me, I want to come back to that. So thanks for bringing that up, but let me run through the people real quick.
Yes.
So Don had a phenomenal experience where he merged with a futuristic aspect of himself by way of a spaceship craft actually lowering the entity into his body, and it was phenomenal. Scott Matthias, unfortunately, is not going to be able to make it due to family issues. We have Yvonne Perry. Yvonne is also an author, and she has written many books. You can go to her site and check out her products, but Yvonne is a walk-in who has had multiple experiences, and she's very proficient at both speaking and teaching light language. And then there's my beloved teacher, Jeremy Leckron, and Jeremy will be joining us, sharing her story and talking about what her life's mission is all about. We have Andrea Pearson, and Andrea and Barbara actually wrote the foreword for my book, Walk-ins, The Cosmology of the Soul. And Andrea is also the author of the House of Light, House of Darkness series books. We have Darlene Vandergriff, and although Darlene is not a walk-in herself, her mother was a walk-in, and Darlene herself is very, very gifted. She works with a council of 28 entities. She works with individuals on a daily basis. I can't wait to hear what she has to share. Then we have Gail Mack. Gail is a real sweetheart too. Gail is not a walk-in, but has had some phenomenal experiences, and she works with walk-ins. We
Actually,
have
I'll tell the story of how I saw Gail turn into Isis at the Temple of Isis in Egypt.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Yes, that's where I met her, in Egypt. So yes, go ahead.
Okay, then we have Maya Nartumid, and Maya is actually a scribe for Thoth, and she has been bringing in information from Thoth her entire life. She has a phenomenal story, and actually Indon is a, I guess you would say, a follower of her work. Then we have Rob Gauthier. Rob is a sweetheart of a guy. He channels a variety of beings, with Treb and Ardif being two of the main that are a fifth and a sixth density being. And he'll be talking with us. We have Maya Christabel, and Maya is a hybrid who also has experienced a walk-in experience. And then, of course, we have Alan and Neil that'll be joining us. So I think this is going to be an absolutely phenomenal conference.
Well, the other key thing is, like, there's going to be 24 hours of speaking, and people can come back to that. Why don't you talk about that aspect of the conference, Neil, where if they register for it or sign up later?
Yes.
What
first let me say that I'm going to do a presentation as well, and I'm really excited about it. I outlined the whole thing yesterday. I started the presentation, and the title of it is what is the title? Galactic Origins, Dimensions, and Black Holes.
Woo-hoo.
And it's a presentation that's been on the back burner for at least 5 years for me. So I'm finally coming around to it. And what I'm going to do is some of the theories that I've had about black holes and incarnation and the center of the galaxy being such a high density that if you looked at the center of the supermassive black hole in the middle of a galaxy, all you would see is pure light. And the concept that the frequency over there is shifted. I don't like to say higher because that's a human construct. Like, we're not sure what the frequency really is, but the frequency and the density is much denser. Not in a way that, we're dense on this planet, but just the concentration. So I was trying to break down the concept of dimensions, and maybe the lower dimensions we're experiencing on the outer rings of the galaxy, and then the closer we go to the supermassive black hole, the more our frequency picks up, and the more the frequency picks up, the only way you can actually exist closer to the center of the black hole is if you're in a higher dimension, which is definitely true because, there's stars that are right next to each other, and you can't just have a regular planet live third dimensionally like we do on Earth right in the center. However, the constellation of Lyra is there, and that's supposedly where humanity came from after the founder race came out of the center of the black hole. So I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to have ancient scriptures are going to be my source. We're going to have channeled material as my source, some data from NASA, things that kind of verify and back this up. So that I feel is a good thing that really just like comes in about the cycles of how the souls get incarnated, and possibly every single galaxy is its own karmic cycle, that when you go into the void in the center, your soul can transition and transcend into other realities, dimensions, all that stuff. So that's going to be coming up. I'm extremely excited for it. Yeah.
That is great, Neil. That is real cutting edge. I mean, that's what's so amazing and so beautiful about this conference. We are breaking new ground in the spiritual dimensions, and we're doing that as part of an evolution of consciousness. And I think consciousness evolves when we find new definitions for internal experiences, so other people can say, yes, I've had that. I know what you're talking about, but I didn't know what it was called.
Yes.
And this is a real leap. I mean, I think this year, 2021, as we saw yesterday, there's a whole new consciousness, good or bad. There's something new coming to the planet. Personally, I think it will be beneficial transformation. I mean, I don't think it was so well presented yesterday, but I think consciousness is changing and new things are happening, and we have to think about doing things in new ways. I mean, it's not about, I don't believe in violence or anything like that, but I do think we have to prepare ourselves for the ETs, for thinking differently. It's all coming online, actually.
Yeah, and let me just tie that into, something, add on to that, and then go into answering your question about the specs of the event. Yeah, it's extremely important now because especially when it comes to UFOs and ETs, there's a definite push, multiple agendas out there in order to disclose the information. It seems like the one that's marketed the most is the threat agenda. These are the threats. So it's not like, oh yeah, let's just continue doing these events here and there for the next 10 years and have fun doing it. It's more like, yeah, we're going to have fun doing it, but also look and see what is actually happening. We need to be doing this to counteract that energy that is saying that it's a negative experience. Because this information and as you'll see from these walk-ins, they're going to be they're from all over, right? Off planet, interdimensionally. So they're going to be speaking about it, and you'll realize that there isn't really something to be afraid of. And then also it's a frequency game. You have the ability to protect yourself, and just the knowing that you won't get affected and taken down or attacked, just that knowing in yourself creates that frequency protection.
Well, yeah, now that we're on the UFO ET thing, I just wanted to share this book that is coming out, which is all about opening ourselves up to transformation. I think we have more to fear from humans than we do from ETs. And this book is about changing and shifting the consciousness to welcome the contact experience, because I believe that consciousness itself is not of the earth. It is of the cosmos and has arrived on earth. And we think it's part of the human experience, but it's part of who we are as eternal in-souled beings, which ties back to this whole walk-in conference, because people are walking in from other planets, other dimensions, other realities. So I just want to highlight the people in this book that I chose to contribute are the leading thinkers, experts in this time of bringing in the higher consciousness, the benevolent understanding of ETs. I mean, people like to project fear onto the unknown, but what they're really doing is projecting what they know onto the unknown. And this book, this time, this age, this year presents new opportunities to meet the others, to make contact. That's why I have Linda Moulton Howe, Whitley Streiber. I got an essay from John Mack, an estate. He was the Harvard psychiatrist who said, no, abductions are real. These people are having real experiences. I can't explain it. Of course, Harvard tried to throw him out, but there was an unpublished essay that I came across on his website, and I said I'd love to have that, borrow that for the book, and they said sure. Darryl Anka, who's the international channel for Bashar, writes an essay as himself of his own experience with Bashar and what that means in terms of the human experience. And then there's Nick Pope, who was a Ministry of Defense investigator in Britain, and he has a lot of original things to say. He's under the oath of secrecy. He couldn't tell us all, but he told us enough in this essay. Grant Cameron, who I think is one of the great scholars of the UFO situation. Deisree and J.J. Hurtak, very good friends, and been part of the ET investigation since the 1970s. Carolyn Cory, who I think is the closest thing to a emerged blended ET human. Marie Rodwell, who we talked about, who unfortunately can't make this event, but she is a great researcher on contact experiences. This is my friend Henrietta Weeks, who is a poet and writes about her abduction experience as a kind of dreamlike lyrical landscape. I think you'll like that one, Neil. And of course, the forward by George Norrie, which was a real coup for this one. I also write an essay about my own abduction experience, which was kind of traumatic, but I've adjusted. So anyway, yes, Neil, you're right. This is a time of transformation. It's time of welcoming the others into our reality. And that's what's so amazing about what Sheila put together. Has people who have already merged these parts of the bigger reality and shows that it is an upgrade. It is not something to be feared. It's something to be welcomed, this another level of ourselves. So yes, didn't mean to jump on too long there, Neil, but you were saying
no, it's good.
About this event then, yes.
You know, and Dolores Cannon is one of the individuals that I pull a lot of content from for my presentation. And she said, you know, after the nuclear age, there was like one of her hypno regressions was, multiple ones actually, was that this voice, right, that was beyond any regular voice, was saying that after the first atomic bomb went off, there was a call out to the universe that basically it was like, all the volunteers that wanted to come down here could come down here. And at that point, many different things happened. Souls began incarnating as babies, souls began walking in, you know, and the population, you know, is increased now. And we have more people than we've ever had on this planet. And a lot of it could be because all these souls are coming down in order to basically, it's a call to action, right? It's time to step up. And that's what is occurring right now. And that's what we're going to be experiencing over the next 3 days, literally starting tomorrow for 3 days straight. We're going to be experiencing these individuals that have come down with individual missions. And I know I forget the lady, but I think she's in a Scandinavian country, but she was saying that she's going to be speaking about, she's a walk-in and her mission is to teach people about dimensions and densities.
Oh yeah, that's Emma Louise.
So how cool is that, right?
Yeah,
so all these individuals, you know, they have a collective mission, which is the upliftment of humanity, but then they have their own like scientific research that they're bringing forward too, right? So you're going to get
from
to
other dimensions. We are going to get dimensional research, people from other planets, other star systems. It sounds unbelievable when I say it. Say it. But that's because you know, part of our minds are still programmed in the old paradigm. So
well, if the government is going to release a document in 180 minus days right now on everything that the agencies know about UFOs and ETs and their craft, then what we're saying isn't far from the truth. Like isn't far-fetched either, you know? It's all in alignment right here.
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
this is a new time. And I think yes, I just heard that recently. In 180 days, the Senate or the Congress has to come out with what they know
Yeah.
about ETs and ships and UAPs and UFOs. So, and that's exactly when this book I wrote is coming out, about 6 months. So
Awesome.
Perfect timing. So let me just
yes.
tell everybody then. Okay, so the event starts tomorrow. Is it 10 a.m., Sheila? It's 10 a.m., right?
Yes, 10
Wait, no,
10
a.m.
a.m.
10
But
a.m.
Pacific.
Wait, go through all the time
Okay.
zones because when you say
Yes.
10 a.m.,
Let's do
people
it.
don't.
So 10 a.m. Pacific time, which is,
Okay.
yes,
west coast of the US and a little further in. And then we have 1 p.m. Eastern time, which would be 6 p.m. in the UK, right?
Okay.
So those are pretty much 3 time zones. And it's going to be, I think, around 8, maybe up to 9 hours a day. And we do have unlimited replay access. So if you sign up for the event, you can watch it back anytime, whenever you want. It takes maybe 1 to 2 days after the whole conference is over to send that out to you. But then also, if you haven't attended a Portal to Ascension event before, you actually get like 1,500 hours of other content just by signing up for an event, because we've done so many events. We have thousands of hours and it's all categorized for you and all that. So not only is this event going to be so impactful and amazing, but then you also have a lot of support and resources afterwards, and some of which are with some of these speakers like Marie Rodwell, who's not going to be there. We have videos on the platform, so you get to continue your information and expand your consciousness with everything that we are able to present for you right now. So again, tomorrow we start at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. If you're interested, go to portaltoascension.org, go to online events. It's the first event under online events. Sign up there, or you can just click the banner. Literally everything on our website will direct you straight to the walk-in page. Hope you guys can be there. And remember, if you are thinking that you can't come because you're busy, you get unlimited replay access.
And again, this is a once ever, first time. This has not been done. Sheila, because she has had her own experiences, she just doesn't have an idea and say, oh, what about this? No, it comes from a real experience, and you'll be sharing that. But did you ever tell Neil the story? I mean, you want to save that because it's a traumatic story of your awakening.
right.
So,
I can do it either way. I can save it or I can share.
well, can you hold
Maybe
on a
give a
day
little,
for?
yeah, I'll hold on a little bit. But one thing I will say, Neil,
Yeah.
is when I was working with Barbara Lamb under hypnosis,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that she said to me after we read everything, of course, and I had it recorded, and it was astounding to me to listen to all of the information that just started flowing from me. And one of the interesting things is, because I was part of a collective, we were way out in the universe, but we heard a call from Gaia. A call went up, and we came, and we were assisting, working into the crystalline grid of the planet, and we were putting in light codes to help
Yes.
raise the consciousness of humanity. And so my collective came in as one of those 3 waves that Dolores Cannon talks about in her many books.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you came in as the walk-in, you're saying, for
Well,
that?
no, actually, the collective that I am part of was
Mm.
working in the earth grid. Now, when we heard the soul of this original body, the body, it's kind of weird to talk, but when the soul cried out from this body to be released, it was decided instantaneous that I would be the aspect that came in. And so typically, there is a birth plan or a pre-birth plan that's put into place, where there are various openings set up in a particular lifetime where that soul can choose to exit. Now, sometimes a soul comes in kind of in partnership with a walk-in, and they're sort of setting the stage, because most walk-ins don't need to come in and have the birth experience or any of the early childhood experiences, etc. And in my case, I just needed an adult form to kind of hit the ground running. And so it's very, very interesting, all of the stories that you're going to hear over the week.
As you're talking, Sheila, I'm getting the sense that doing this conference was part of your soul mission.
Oh, it
and maybe
is.
part of mine and Neil's soul mission too.
Oh, it
So,
is. I mean,
mhm,
my mission was very clear to me. I
Mhm.
was to be a way shower to help
mhm,
people to spiritually wake up and consciously evolve, and to be a support to Gaia. And the entire time that I have been here, I had to first kind of work through some of the cellular memory, cellular imprinting of this physical body. And I had to get the children, kind of raised up, and out of
mhm,
the house. But then, bam, I
Mhm.
mhm,
really started working all the time. And this is all I do
mhm,
24/7. My poor
mhm.
family. It's,
Wow.
I'm calling this person, calling that person. Let's get this going. Let's get that
Yep.
going. We need to tell these stories because
Definitely.
everybody comes in that's a walk in with a mission. And it's
Yeah.
very, very
Right.
personal to them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like, oh, we're going to take over this government and we're going, we're going to do this. No, no. It is working one-on-one with people, helping
Mm.
individuals to wake up, working with groups, helping them to wake up, letting
Yeah.
people know that, being a walk-in is not scary. We have a soul just like everybody else. It's just our timing is different. We
Yeah.
came in for a very specific purpose,
Mm.
but everybody on the planet has a purpose, but
Y-
not everybody has woken up to that.
I'm going to tell the story of how I walked in between lifetimes, between dimensions,
Beautiful.
and I
Mm.
remember that as you're talking, it's actually coming back to me, and
Isn't
I
that awesome?
think this is what's going to happen to a lot of people listening to the event. Ideas, flashes, insights into their soul's nature is going to
Yeah.
start to be revealed, and that's what's so beautiful about this.
Yes.
I have some poetry on walk-ins as well, so maybe we can do that
Oh, cool.
during the
Great.
event.
That'd
Well,
be
I'm gonna show
awesome.
my film about my it's sort of a walk-in comedy, you
Nice.
know?
I can't
So,
wait. So I want to tell you guys a story, and I actually haven't
yeah.
told anybody this before because I just never really had the reason to because it was a private story. But since
Mhm.
this guy was a walk-in, it's valid right now. And so, and I wish he had the support group that that you're putting together now, Sheila, because he actually passed away, committed suicide, and
Oh,
this,
Wow. And he
so
committed suicide because he didn't have a context for this experience, huh?
yeah. So let me tell you the
Wow.
story. I was here in Costa Mesa at a Starbucks. I get a phone call. My number has been on the website. This is like 5, 6 years ago on Portal to Ascension website. And this guy's like, "Hey, I've been following Portal to Ascension. I'm a walk-in." And then he told me his story. And his story was he was like, hundreds of pounds, like over 350 pounds. He was on his deathbed in the hospital, and he had a near-death experience, and a soul walked in. Within months, all of his weight gone, and
Mm.
he became a UFC fighter, famous UFC fighter, and like he was on the cover of like all types of like fighting magazines and like good-looking men magazines. Like he was just like everything that anybody would ever feel that you wanted. But he would call me every now and then and just be like tripping out and say, like, I walk down the streets and the lights explode because of his frequency. So he would walk down the street and he couldn't tell anybody. He wouldn't tell his because he had a whole team. You have a publicist, he had marketing, it was all of this, and he couldn't tell anybody, and he was around it all the time and didn't know how to express it. So every like I think this was actually 7 years ago, and then every year or so, like he would say something suicidal to me and say like, I can't be here, I can't be here on this planet, and then I would just like talk to him for a bit and calm him down, but I didn't really have an outlet except for just a conversation about it. And then years later, like 2 months after he already said that again, and I told him, hey, you need to get some help, he actually did it. And his whole reason for it, and he had been explaining it to anybody that would listen. He only started going to Conscious Life Expo the year before he passed away, so he didn't even know that existed, right? And then that was the first time I met him in person, and then I dropped him home and had a conversation and everything, and he literally said like he couldn't take it, he didn't have anybody to connect with, he doesn't feel like he's here on earth, he's in a whole entire industry that he doesn't really resonate with, and that happened. So this is a real thing, and a lot of people, some people that are like well known in the public eye even are experiencing this, and he didn't have a foundation for it. So I'm thinking that this will help a lot of people that maybe have similar thoughts. And then also what you're doing, what you're going to be doing today with the support group was probably going to definitely assist people as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just cannot begin to tell you how these types of experiences really shake your world, because all of a sudden everything is foreign to you. And for me, I lost a lot of my memory. So I thought I was having a psychotic break. I didn't know what else there was. I had no foundation for it. So I can really empathize with people who are having these kinds of experiences. I wasn't to the brink of suicide, but I was ready to check myself in to a mental
Mhm.
institution, and that's not a joke. I
Yeah.
mean, it is unbelievable. I went from, kind of being an in the box, um, very in the box person, I'll just say that. And to have all of a sudden clairvoyance and clairaudience and clairsentient, and have these spirit guides standing there talking to me and looking at myself in the mirror like, what the heck is this stuff? And like, it's my hair. Of course it's my hair. What's wrong with me? Because you immediately start turning that inward, because everything appears to be the same. It appears to be normal, but everything is different. Everything is
Uh-huh.
different.
Mm. The other exciting thing is, as people talk about this, as these realities start to merge, this world is starting to change. It's starting to
Yes.
morph. The whole coronavirus thing has already distorted our reality. So, in a way, it's prepared us
Yes.
for anything being possible. And that's sort of the magic of this time. It's no holds bar anymore. There's this
Yeah.
free form. It's like
Yes.
reality is not what it used to be. So
It's new reality.
well,
Yep.
exactly. So I'm really excited about this. Thank you both for making it possible. I'm so happy to be part of it, because we are really breaking new ground in the spiritual circles. There's never been anything like this. And that's just so exciting for me, because I'm an
Mhm.
Aquarius and we want that new time. This is actually the time of Aquarius, with the Jupiter Saturn conjunction, and then 7 planets coming into Aquarius in the by the springtime. So this is a new start. It's a new foundation being built on the nature of reality. And
Mhm.
let me just throw one other plug in there for this predictions panel I'm doing tonight at the Open Center. People can just go to the Open Center. Let me see if I can find it. I don't think so. But I have about 7 astrologers there, and we're going to talk about the configurations for the year coming up. I'll look
Oh,
for that. But Neil, why don't you just tell us what else is coming up on Portal to Ascension?
Yes. So we do have a lot going on. I'm about 4 to 5 months behind schedule on launching my new website. So it's almost done. That's going to be happening this month. A lot of bells and whistles, and just user-friendly, efficient platform that is going to be really amazing. And so everybody that is signing up for the Walk-ins conference, you're going to be literally here during the transition phase. So about a week after the conference is over, our website's going to just be like taken to the exponential level, and we're going to have the
wow.
ability to cast to your smart TV. And then the following month we have your Android and iPhone app coming out, so you can look at your footage there and replays and cast that to your TV. So that's going to be cool. And then in regards to events, I actually am doing a free sound healing conference on January 16th, but I haven't put it up on the website yet. I'm going to do that today. And then after that, on January 17th, I'm doing the first Portal to Ascension Conscious Open Mic, which is going to be the poets and musicians on consciousness. And those are 2 free events coming up next, the weekend after the walk-ins. So if you sign up
Wow.
to the walk-ins, or if you sign up on our website for free and you can't attend the walk-ins, but you want to sign up, you'll get the notification for that. But what I'm really excited about is I've created a lot of presentations, and I'm going to be presenting a lot this year. And one of them is Journey Through the Maya Empire. That's going to be on January 24th. And it's basically a practical guide to the Maya Empire. It's not just esoteric information. It's not just fifth dimensional stuff and what they knew about ETs. It's literally 3 years of my wife and I going to these sites, taking our own videos, doing our own research, taking images, and connecting with local Maya family, and going on tour with them. So it's going to be not only a lot of information about the trade routes, cacao, and how that was used, and what the asteroid that hit that area in the Yucatan 65 million years ago, and how it created the Yucatan Peninsula, and how that was the same asteroid that destroyed the dinosaurs, and all the way to modern architecture. I mean, not modern architecture, the Puch style architecture of the Maya Empire. And then we're going to be ending on, did the Maya really vanish? Evidence and the theories on where they went, and the fact that they didn't even leave, that they're still there. So I'm going to be going through all of that, plus
Wow.
showing my mini documentaries, 4 different mini documentaries that are 10 minutes each on the Maya Empire from when we've gone down there.
Wow.
And so that's January 24th. If you guys are interested,
Hey, Neil, could it be
portalcenter.org.
that the Mayans ascended, that they actually
That's
left
one of the
this
theories.
dimension?
Well, okay, so let me just say this then real quick. In 900 AD, there was a huge mass migration from Tikal and from also Palenque, Chiapas, Tabasco area to the mainland of the Yucatan, everywhere from Uxmal to Cancun, really, right?
Mhm.
So there was, the population was 20 million. Population went down quite a bit. There was huge environmental catastrophic events. Some people died in there. There is evidence to suggest that they never really vanished. Their population just went down and they moved into these areas. And then there's also the theory that Ancient Aliens pushes out, is that they actually, some of them left and went back to the Pleiades because they believe that they have a connection to the Pleiades. So I'm not
Wow.
going to tell you what to believe. I'm just going to tell you all the different things that are out there and the evidence behind it, so you can make your own decision.
Well, also want to say, when travel starts and when things start to really get going, I hope to do a tour with you of Petra, Jordan. We're going to take some people
Yes.
there, which is probably the most amazing ancient civilization I've ever been to. I've been to Egypt, I've been to India, I've been to, ancient parts of Mexico, Teotihuacan, but Petra is buildings carved out of the mountains. It's red rock. It looks like Sedona, but imagine 10-story buildings carved out of that rock. So it was an incredible legacy, Petra, and no one really knows what happened there either, why people just disappeared. And I think it'd be great to take a tour there with you, Neil, and
Yeah,
all the
it's already a done deal. I'm literally just
Great.
waiting for everything to open up.
Cool.
great, great,
So
great.
I
let me
wanted
also
a real-
say, go ahead, Sheila.
That's okay. I was just going to say, I want to give a quick plug for the meeting tonight.
yes.
We have the kind of like a support meeting for walk-ins, star seeds, indigos, anyone who would like to join us. And if you're interested in signing up, please go to the website, cosmicsoulsonearth.com, and there's a place that you can sign up. And if you'll, get in there today, that'll come to me and I can send you the link for tonight's meeting. It'll be from 6 to 8 p.m. and that's Mountain Time.
Okay, great. Not to do any
Beautiful.
competition with you tonight, but I'm also
Right.
hosting an event tonight.
Yeah.
That is this event. Does that show up on your screen?
Yes.
There? This is I've been doing this for the last 5 years. Every year at the beginning of the year, I bring together astrologers and visionaries, and it's been hosted by the Open Center the last 4 years. So this is 2021. Last year we had William Steckers on, and he said there's something coming out of China. It's going to be an X event. It's going to change the world as we know it. He didn't really know the specifics, but that was enough to say, oh my God, that was a hit. He got that. So
Wasn't it?
we have a bunch of leading astrologers and people. William Steckers is returning. Sergio Magana, who's a Toltec seer. Julian Michaels, who's a numerologist. So that is tonight. You can just go to see this URL up here, opencenter.org/astrology-predictions for 2021. So register. That's tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be very exciting, and you never know what's going to be said, and you don't know. This is not just a new year, it's a new decade.
Yes.
And it marks the beginning of the 20s. And we're moving into unknown territory. We've just been through, and we're still going through this readjustment, this recalibration. And no one really knows what's going to happen on the other side. But the stars, disaster means you're out of touch with the stars, aster. But to be in touch with the stars means you can start to coordinate your inner movements with the outer movements, and you come into harmony with the universe. That was the benefit of knowing the cycles of time, basically. And that's what we're going to really look at and understand, see how it applies to people's lives and how it applies to the politics, economy, social conditionings, innovations, free energy, UFOs. There's so much that's going to come down this decade that it's a very exciting time. So
Will this be recorded?
yeah, it'll probably be recorded, but people are
Great.
paying for that event, so I'm not sure when we'll release that. But yes,
Okay.
I'll let
Yeah.
you know. And Neil, thanks for everything you do. Sheila, this is a very exciting weekend that you are the visionary of. And Neil, we're going forward into the future with Portal to Ascension.
Woohoo.
Yeah. I mean, I only went 2 weeks. I spoke about a few events, but I'm only 2 weeks from now. So just imagine all the stuff that we have going on.
Right.
And this year I'm doing more conferences than I've ever done before, just because I finally made some great connections like Sheila, and Alan, been working with for a long time, but people that can help me co-produce these events, because it's not
Right.
an easy feat doing this by yourself. Like, it's worked out so well with Sheila. Like, I'm like so ecstatic and happy at the way that we've done this together and communicated, and how on point you are with the emails and
Right.
everything that you convey to the speakers. It's like better than I do it, really. And I'm so happy for that. So
Well,
so
no,
we should
Sheila's a
talk
really
more about
hard
it in the
worker.
future.
She's a hard worker and she believes in this and she put her whole energy into this.
Yeah.
That's why it's going to be a great event. So thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
happy.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Sheila.
Thanks.
Okay, see you tomorrow. Everybody
Yes.
watching, remember, go to portaltoascension.org. The walk-in conference is right there. Sign up and join us for the next 3 days, because it is going to be revelation after revelation. After doing a couple of these interviews, my whole body was buzzing. That first one we did, Sheila, it's like,
Yes.
wow, that was, yeah. So expect a
Just wait.
transformation.
Just wait, folks.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. See you
Thanks.
soon.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone
See ya.
online.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.